Today we are talking about Connor Heyward and his rookie minicamp. Now, I was going to do a video on the whole minicamp, but I found out as I went onto the Pittsburgh Steelers website, right? I went onto the website and I started researching about the minicamp and who was turning up. We have the 7 draftees. We have Kenny Pickett, George Pickens, DeMarvin Leal, Calvin Austin, Connor Heyward, Mark Robinson, and Chris Oladurkin, right? As I was looking at these guys, I was like, hey, let's talk about the whole minicamp. And then I started to get myself sidetracked and started to think more about what position and the opportunity for Connor Heyward as a tight end, because there are 17 rookies heading towards these minicamps that are happening right now from May 13th to May 15th, guys. And there are overall 28 players on a tryout basis. So that is a lot of people. That is a lot of people to cover. So I thought today, guys, I'm just going to do a small video talking about Connor Heyward and his potential impact with the Steelers, and just talk about what he said in his recent interview with a couple of Steelers reporters. Now, the first question that came up with Connor Heyward at the practice facility in the minicamp was, do you think you have a leg up because of your brother? Do you think you have a better chance because of your brother, Cameron Heyward, of making the team? Now, his response was awesome. Connor Heyward's response was great. He said, no, I have to come in here and earn it. Like 100%, I have to come into the Steelers organization and earn my spot. And I love that. I love that he shut it down so much. He will have this chip on his shoulder for a big time. As you can see there with the number, he already wears 83, so he's got Heath Miller as a chip, right? He's an undersized tight end too, and we don't know what overall position he's going to be playing, so that's another chip. But to be Cameron Heyward's brother in this Pittsburgh Steelers system, every man and their dog will be asking Connor Heyward about that question. So in the interview, I will leave the interview in the description. I'm sure you have seen it, but if you haven't seen it from PittsburghSteelers.com, it is awesome. He says straight away, no, I have to come in here and earn it. It's cool that he's my brother, but at the end of the day, I have to earn it. That's what he said. And he said he's had a chip on his shoulder, and he had that also back at Michigan State when he was changing positions around. It was just, he's always had that fire, and he proved people wrong. He went on to say they went on to say the reporters when asked as well and said, well, what position do you think you'll play? Will you play fullback, tight end, or halfback? And another great answer. I already like this guy's confidence. I really do. I already like this guy's confidence because the answer he gave back to the reporters was, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what position I play. The position I play is that I'm a football player. Like 100%, I am a football player through and through. It doesn't matter if it's halfback, fullback, or tight end. He's ready to go out there and play football. Now, we'll go through his stats in just a minute, but I was also in another intriguing question that came up in this reporting, right? The reporters asked, why did you choose number 83? And Connor Heyward's answer was, I didn't choose 83. It was given to me. And he went on to say, he talked about Heath Miller's legacy with the Steelers, and we all know that. Heath Miller is one of the best Steelers to ever play the game, right? He went on to say, well, hopefully, one day that 83 will be retired. And the reporters all joked and laughed and said, well, they can't retire it while you wear the number. And then he said, well, maybe they'll retire it after I wear it. So there's a possibility that Connor Heyward may not even wear number 83 with the Steelers this year in 2022. There's a possibility that he may wear it for a few years, and he already gives the respect to Heath Miller and says, well, after I'm done using it, I will treat it with respect, with the honor that it deserves, being Heath and number 83. Then they can retire it. It was such a great interview to see Connor Heyward, dispel the rumor of like, because his brother there, Cameron Heyward, he won't make the team just because of that reason. Now, there could be a possibility that the Steelers coaches do choose him because of that reason, but hopefully he will grind and, show his worth. And I reckon he will. From the footage I saw from the minicamp interview, it was one of the most confident interviews I think I've seen for a young Steelers rookie player. Now, we also had interviews from Kenny Pickett, which was awesome too, and George Pickens. But I wanted to focus on Connor Heyward because I thought it was quite of an interesting story. Now, if we go to some of his stats from his years at Michigan from 2017 and 2021, right? Rushing the football, he has over 211 attempts, 825 yards, so 4-point average and 5 TDs. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are still quite unsure what is going to happen with their second running back. Now, we do have Najee Harris at number 1. We have Benny Snell, who's number 2, or I think needs to improve quite a bit. Then thirdly, we have Anthony McFarland Jr. And along the lines, we have Trey Edmonds, the two undrafted players, Mateo Durant, Jalen Warren. So they have a possibility to make the team as well. But the thing is now, if Connor Heyward can prove to be tight end number 3, you can also use him at running back for number 2 or position number 3 as well, or maybe even a 4th, right? Because we don't know if Benny Snell is going to make the team, and we're not sure what can happen with Anthony McFarland Jr. He's been injured quite a bit, and some of these players need to step it up. So having that security as well for knowing that Connor Heyward could be tight end number 3 and pushing to run the football, like with his stats, is not too bad. For him not focusing on the run, for not actually being a running back, or more or less a fullback, or in some roles, halfback maybe in the shotgun set, or along those lines, 4-point yards average is not too bad. Now in the receiving game, he had over 96 yards, 96 receptions, 711 yards, and 6 TDs. So this guy, like he said in the interview, Connor Heyward, is a football player. So when he was asked about where do you think you'll play, I'll quote him what he said. It doesn't matter. It overly does not matter where he wants to play. And I think that is fantastic. And I do hope over the next few days we see more of him catching the ball, getting along amongst the Steelers, and hopefully he can find a home and make the team. But there needs to be work to be done as well. So it is excellent, guys, to see these Pittsburgh Steelers rookies heading out onto the field. And as they ran out of the office today onto the field, it was such a great sight to see. But today, guys, I wanted to focus on Connor Heyward. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. No visual representation of myself today. Just wanted to do like a mini podcast and talk about Connor Heyward. So if you do enjoy the video, please hit that like and sub. It would be fantastic. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.